Hi everybody, welcome to the Frugal Update. This week I'm a little frantic with packing. I am leaving this evening to go to Nashville, Tennessee for a conference called Blistum, where I'm going to help teach a panel on social media, so I'm very excited. Now I have traveled a lot this last year for a lot of conferences and social media, so I thought I'd give you a few of my frugal traveling and packing tips and then talk about a few other things I've done this week. Now my first tip is that you should really try, if at all possible, to take just a carry-on bag. I know this really doesn't work for some people if you're juggling a bunch of kids or if you've got any kind of medical problems where you don't want to be hauling your bag around. But if you can pack everything into one small suitcase, then you're going to avoid the extra charges they're giving you these days for having a bag. A lot of airlines are charging $35 a bag, $20 a bag, whatever, in order to bring a bag on if you check it. If you get something about this size and it fits in the overhead bins, then you can just bring it as a carry-on. And a lot of times what I found is you bring it as a carry-on, they'll tag it at the gate, and then you'll get it when you get off the plane and drag it to your next plane. So you're not even having to shove it under your seat. It's really being taken and stowed, but you're not paying that fee. Of course, that means you've got to fit it all in this bag. One of my biggest packing tips, and I learned this way back when I was in the Army, is that if you roll clothing instead of fold it, you can fit a heck of a lot more into a suitcase, and it doesn't wrinkle as badly. So, for example, my favorite pair of thrift store black pants, which I hem myself, of course, and all you do is you fold them, and then you roll it. And you roll it as tight as you can, and because there's no creases, it doesn't put any creases in your clothing, and then these rolls can fit quite snugly into your suitcase. You can see I've got a lot of stuff in here. Another thing I like to do is try to use multi-purpose items when I travel. I've gained a little weight recently, unfortunately, and I will tell you from trying on all these conference clothes that I have nothing that makes me look 10 pounds thinner. I checked. But unfortunately, none of my old belts fit, so I had to go out and buy a new belt. And what I bought was one, I don't think you can see it, but it's brown on one side and black on the other. So this is a great travel item because I can use one belt for two things. So definitely something like that. And then I love scarves. It's not going to go with this sweater, but I've done a whole video on scarves. And instead of packing a lot of jewelry, I like to take scarves. They pack down to nothing. And like I said, it's going to look horrible with this sweater. But if you have a solid color sweater on and you throw on something like this, you go from a nondescript outfit to something that looks very chic and fashionable. And it doesn't take up any room at all in your suitcase. So you can always bring a couple of scarves that match what you have. If you don't wear them, you don't wear them. You've got room. Another thing I like to do is bring some books along. I'm a really big reader and I love to read on the plane. So when I was at the thrift store last time, I picked up these novels for about 20 cents each. I can pack them in my bag, and if I've read them on the plane or whatever, I've left them on planes before for someone else to read, left them in airports, leave them at the hotel for the staff, whatever. When you've only paid 20 cents a book, it really doesn't hurt my feelings if I leave it behind. Another thing is breakfast. Now, these conferences a lot of times have some coffee breaks, and they might have a luncheon included, but breakfast and dinner are usually on your own. I will wind up probably eating out for dinner. Hopefully, I can find someplace inexpensive, and occasionally somebody else will treat. A lot of times at these mommy blogger type conferences, there are large brands where they might want to invite people out to dinner, so I might actually get a free meal that way. But I hate spending money on breakfast. It is ridiculous to me to spend $8 at a hotel restaurant for breakfast. So even though I normally would not buy things like these oatmeal to go or these Fiber One Pop-Tarts, in this case I think this is a good buy. I bring these. I bought enough for my roommate. We're going to keep them in the hotel room, and then we can have breakfast before we leave the room and not spend a lot of money. You'll notice I open these up because a lot of times it's actually smaller to pack these in your bag in between things without having them in the packaging. I also like to buy, these are like Crystal Light sticks. They're the drink sticks. Again, you all know me. I normally drink water or milk. But what I'll do is I'll bring a drink stick like this. I'll bring an empty water bottle, and I will go through security with my empty water bottle. And when I get on the other side of airport security, I will fill it up with water at the water fountain and flavor it. This prevents me from having to buy an expensive drink in the airport when I'm thirsty, and it also keeps me on some of the flights when they charge you for drinks. I don't have to do that. I can also bring it along. I can have a drink in the hotel room without going into the minibar, because hotel tap water tastes nasty, so you want to add something in. And I can bring it around to the conference with me, and instead of a vending machine soda or soda from the restaurant, I can use these. Again, those will go in my carry-on. And lastly, I never go to conference without my Billiam. This was the first gift my husband ever gave me. He's a boar hog from Germany, and I have had him for, getting on towards 16 or 17 years now. So Billiam always goes with me when I can't have my Yankee Bill with me. So he has to go in the suitcase. Now, I've done a few other frugal things this week. One of the things is I bought a new laptop 2 weeks ago because my laptop died. And you cannot be a blogger if you don't have access to a computer. So I bought my laptop, and I will be bringing it on this trip. However, it is a bigger laptop than my previous laptop, so my laptop sleeve didn't fit. Being the frugal gal I am, I decided that this was a perfect opportunity for a DIY project. So I went to the thrift store. I bought a cardigan that buttoned up. It was Family Day at the Salvation Army, so I got it for, I believe, $2.99. And then I simply cut out a square and sewed it together on my sewing machine. You could do it by hand. You have to leave some leeway around, and I will be posting a tutorial for this on my blog shortly. But it made a great laptop sleeve. I just slide it in like an envelope and button it up. Fits perfectly, has some style. And I used an extra piece of fabric and made this little bag that I can put my cord inside of, and then either I can tuck it inside the big bag without scratching the cover, or I can set it separately. So I'm pretty proud of my $3 laptop sleeve and bag. Another little thing I did this week is I've been trying to get the kiddos organized. So I did a little project that doesn't look very nice, but I made a special chore chart for the kids. Now you got to remember, my kids are 6 and 8, so I wanted something visual that included action. It wasn't just checking something off to help them remember what they had to do in the morning and the evening. I got to tell you, I am up to here with having to scream at everybody every morning because people haven't brushed their hair and brushed their teeth and don't have their shoes by their backpack. I am so over it. So this is the system I came up with after talking to several people and after looking up a lot of different ideas online. As you can tell, it's a clipboard with a can and clothespins. And what I did was I had sat down with the kids and we talked about what tasks they had to do every morning and what tasks they had to do every evening. And then we wrote them on the clothespins. So you see, it's eat breakfast, get dressed, brush teeth, folders, because our school sends home homework folders and folders with notes. And that's to make sure they put them in their backpack. Coat, hat, and boots, because as we're going out to the bus, people are running all over the house trying to find where they left their coat. So that's to do that ahead of time. Lights off, which is about turning off the lights up in their room. Got to save the electricity. Their lunchbox and their shoes. And all they do is, as they're done in the morning, they take them off and they throw them in the can. Buddy in particular really likes taking these off. And all I've had to do is say, go check your chart. Do you have anything else you have to do? So that's been working well. On the after school part, homework, spelling words, empty backpack, set table, clear table, brush teeth, quick pickup of their room, which is a new thing, and it's been working really well. Jammies, and then their heat bag, which is a rice bag that we heat up, take up to bed like a warming pad. And again, they just do them all, and the new rule is everything through quick pickup has to be done before they can watch TV. If it works in the long run, I'll probably come up with something that looks a little bit prettier, but I didn't want to spend any money on anything until I knew it worked. So I had the clothespins, and even though they're written all over, if this doesn't work out, I can still use them to hang up clothes. I've had the clipboards. I bought those at the dollar store a couple years ago, and I did let the kids, as you can see, decorate them. And the cans from the recycle bin. Oh, and the yarn is from my stash upstairs. So, it's not pretty, but it's been working. Well, that's kind of what I've been working on this week. Thanks for joining me at the Frugal Update. And remember, you can always find me online at my blog, www.frugalupstate.com. Thanks. See you next week.